Former President Donald Trump was recently in an interview on Fox News with Fox host Sean Hannity. And he was cut off at a very interesting point. Take a look.
And he's going to run, but he's getting crushed now in the polls because he did a little things like voting against Social Security, voting against Medicare. His numbers aren't very good on COVID.
More of my interview with former President Trump straight ahead.
What was that? What? As soon as he makes a point about Social Security and Medicare, oh, well, we're going to cut away. We're going to cut away. No, we're just going to put a hard, break in there. And we'll be back after, he stops talking about Medicare and Social Security. Again, it's a super weird place to do a cut. And look, I think that was intentional. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but look, it's no surprise that Fox News is on the side of Ron DeSantis. I mean, they've said it before. Fox News, of course, headed by Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News and all these different, publications. New York Post, for example, has been putting out some just pretty effective, well, I don't know, effective, but brutal headlines against Donald Trump and for Ron DeSantis. And so, look, Ron DeSantis, it is true that, yes, he did want to, privatize Social Security and Medicare. In fact, here's the details. When he was a candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives back in 2012, DeSantis called for market forces and privatization to replace the current entitlement programs. Meaning, of course, your retirement will be in the stock market, and, well, that would be a pretty horrible idea. And of course, you wouldn't get health care either. Market forces. Older people generally tend to have more health conditions because you get more health conditions as you age. And that actually makes you more expensive to insure, which is why insurance companies charge more or will refuse to cover people who are older. So now, out of all the attacks against Ron DeSantis that Trump has put out, or all the weird nicknames, Meatball Ron, Ron DeSanctimonious. Well, this one's actually true. This one's true, and actually it's politically smart. And so you want to talk about the worst person in the world, making a good point, because that's what's going on here. So now here's another example of Ron DeSantis being hit by Trump over this very same issue. On True Social, for example, he had posted this. Great poll numbers are springing forth for your favorite president, me, against Ron DeSantis and Biden. I guess people are finding out that he wanted to cut Social Security and raise the minimum age to at least 70. 67 right now. France, by the way, literally on fire because Macron wanted to raise the retirement age, I think, to what, 66, 65, something like that. I think it's currently 63. But anyway, Trump's attack continues by saying he tried to raise the minimum age for retirement to at least 70, at least 4 times. Likewise with Medicare, wanted big cuts. He's a wheelchair over the cliff kind of guy, just like his hero, failed politician Paul Ryan. This Fox News ratings destroyer who led Mitt Romney's presidential campaign down the tubes. Globalists all, we want America first. Okay, so everything but the last part, well, maybe not everything. No, he's not exactly my favorite president. But hey, look, the whole globalist thing, no, it's not the globalists, it's capitalists. Capitalists want to privatize Social Security. Why bring in the weirdo anti-Semitism? I don't know. 62 to 64. Thank you for the retirement age in France. My God, they've got it so much better than we are. And here we are in the United States, like saying oh, 67. Oh, now politicians want to raise it even more. What? Oh, we're getting so screwed in this country by, again, corporations, our politicians. But anyway, look, as far as though the going after Ron DeSantis on the attacks on Medicare and Social Security, he's right. And it's not, by the way, just Ron DeSantis who supported these cuts, and then, of course, would publicly backpedal when it came to elections, because, of course, Ron DeSantis recently was like, "Oh no, I don't believe in that anymore." No. But the other politicians, we all know Rick Scott. Rick Scott had been pushing to, again, cut Medicare and Social Security. Now, funny enough, Rick Scott also, while he was running a company in Florida, ended up doing the largest Medicare fraud in the history of the state, perhaps even the country. So his plan would have these so-called entitlements reauthorized every 5 years to be voted on. Oh, yeah, that'll go well. Jesus. Now, a lot of Republicans also had openly called for either cutting Social Security and Medicare, raising, which is, again, raising the retirement age. That is effectively a cut. And I've showed you the different times where they have openly called for this, and sometimes, of course, not openly called for this, but had told their donors behind closed doors. Now, others have realized, and I mean other Republicans, that it's actually really stupid politically to target the most popular retirement and healthcare programs in this country. Incredibly popular, programs. Earlier in March, for example, Politico quoted from Republican congressmen on the politics of Trump using this attack. Quote, this is from Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley. "It got him elected the first time, and I think it will get him elected the second time." And that is, of course, defending Social Security and Medicare. But then adds, it doesn't do anything for our children, grandchildren, that aren't going to have a program that I'm enjoying right now. Wait. You realize, and he probably does, that you could fix that by eliminating the income cap on earnings subject to funding those programs that pay into those taxes. Right now, employers withhold a 6.2% Social Security tax in the first $160,000 of employees' wages. That was raised this year. It used to be $147,000. After which any dollar made would not be subject to the tax and does not go to the trust fund. Eliminate that cap, because there shouldn't be a cap in the first place. And, of course, you would increase the money that is put into the trust fund. Now, the problem is, for them, is that it would primarily affect rich people. That's why they don't want that. So, a rich people, or I should say a rich person, being told, oh, by the way, you still, even though you've paid this much into Social Security, or this much of your earnings was subject to the tax, we're just going to eliminate the cap, and you can continue to pay it through the rest of the year. Well, they freak out. Basically say things like,
Can't let that happen.
but look, they don't want to pay that tax. They don't want to pay any tax, of course, especially if it goes to help a poor person. Now, that said, Trump is right on the issue, but does he actually care? No, of course not. Of course not. But I can point out that he is playing smart politics, calling out Republicans for doing the things that they actually want to do and the things that they have said that they want to do. The thing is, a lot of these politicians will come out and believe that everybody has a selective memory and doesn't remember the things that they said that they wanted to do, or the attempts on trying to, cut Social Security that they have tried to do before. It's almost they forget like TV exists, that there are video clips of them, you know, and are just really good at trying to gaslight people, their own voters specifically, who, by the way, tend to, I mean, use the program and love the programs. And by the way, I'm talking mainly about Republicans, but let's not forget that there are some corporate Democrats out there that have also put Social Security on the table. One of them happens to be someone who has come out very strongly recently in favor of protecting Social Security, and that would be President Joe Biden. But back when President Biden was Vice President Biden, when he was obviously in the Obama administration, had done some negotiations with Mitch McConnell to put Social Security cuts on the table as a part of a grand bargain, you know, for deficit reduction. Now, thankfully, that did not happen, and there were no cuts to Social Security at the time, but it is something that the Democrats did put on the table to try to make a deal with the Republicans. So you've got to be careful here and really try to make sure to, you know, watch what the politicians are not only saying, but doing. That's why it's important to have a free press, a media that isn't the lapdogs of the people in power, but are the watchdogs of the people in power. And we have very few of those, unfortunately. So now, getting back to why Fox News, I think it's pretty obvious why Fox News kind of cut away from that. Because, look, Fox News, they're rich people, of course. All the people that are the hosts, they're millionaires. Sean Hannity, millionaire. And so, along with, of course, not wanting to pay the tax and being in favor of privatizing Social Security and Medicare, they also, since they back Ron DeSantis, do not want viewers to know that Ron DeSantis and other Republicans have been trying to cut Social Security and Medicare all along. If they knew that, if they had access to that information, well, then there would be a lot of voters that would be very angry at the Republican Party, because the vast majority of the country loves those programs. They work. And by the way, the majority of people want to see those programs expended because they're so, they work so well and they're so incredibly popular. Just trying to hide the ball, to gaslight their viewers. And by the way, doing it on something on an issue that Trump is actually saying the right things for once.